Okay, here's what I've been working on my car with this harness to show you what it looks like. We got everything pretty much put back together on the driver's side, and I'm left with these four wires for extra things that I'm not going to use on this particular car. We have one wire, which is a 12 volt. We have another wire, which is going to run the purge, so that can run a fuel pump. We have another one that is for your MAF, which that'll be flex fuel for the flex fuel guys. And the fourth one, which I'm not sure what it is, I'll have to look that up. But you can see it's all clean. It doesn't look like a rat's nest. I'll take those wires and I'll just put them in some convoluted tubing and I'll stick them down there and they will be safely tucked up. I am keeping the charcoal canister in this car just for the fumes. And here is the engine part of it. I still have to mount up and plumb the MAC valve to control the gate. I generally use this connector here. Everything back there is it's open, but it's all working and functional. I still got to make it look pretty. I worked over here and I got this looking pretty good. I still got to secure the harness. I got a bunch of extra wires down here. And here's where I spent a little bit of time today moving the Intrepid fan wiring to the right side of the car. Because as you can see over there, we don't have the relay block or anything like that like we used to have. So that's all been gone. That's all gone. The wiring's over here, and this is a kit that I just had here. It's not something that we put in here, but there's my two high and low relays. I've got them hidden. This car here is more of a one-off, and the harness is a Frankenstein harness because we're going to make some changes. But here is my trigger for the fans. There's my ground, so I will be rerouting these guys. I have, in this one here, I have some 5-volt wires, two 5-volt wires, a ground wire, center ground. Let's see, high current output C9. That looks like it's for the solid state relay for the alcohol. Fan control, which is going to run the relays down there, and the fan over there, and some other wires that we're not using that are extras. So that's what we got. What I envision is, since we're not going to have relays here and we're not going to have a map sensor here, we could very much mount the solid state relay there. And I'd have to come up with a way to mount the MAC valve, but we can mount the MAC valve there. That would change the wiring part of it on the MAC valve. Instead of having it down there, we would take that out of the harness and it would come over here. And we would probably get rid of that connector. But that's not going to happen on this car. We kept the ESC module so you can use it, or you can go with the NOC processor inside the blue box, whatever you want to do. Over here, if I swing around, we got some wiring, and I'm always trying to keep my wiring neat, and I'm not trying to add a whole bunch of extra stuff that looks unfactory. So I've got the master relay tucked up inside the fender on an existing bolt with a nut on the other side. Going in there for now on this car will probably be the solid state relay for the alcohol. Here's my alcohol wire. I'm going to take the power and ground out of that. And my transducer will also be down in that general area. I've still got a T into my transducer, which will be down there. I'll run my transducer in there for the alcohol. So what we got is we're going to have our ground cable, which goes to the fender. That's our low alky ground. And then the ground from his harness, from the Cruz harness. And then we're going to have the powers from the Cruz harness, which power the relays. This is what powers the hot wires on the injectors in the coils. The fuel pump has its own dedicated circuit. We separated that. Here's my fan power. So fan power, Cruz power, regular power, and then this guy is unused. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to use this for my alcohol pump. That's going to run to another relay, and it's going to be switched. So it can only have power when the fuel pump relay is active. That way we don't flood the engine with methanol if a solid state relay should fail. And a couple other things that we're kicking around right now. I mean, that's pretty much all I have to show. Is what I would like to see, and that Don is on board, is I would like to see the harness, the end user, the customer, install a harness, and then whatever they choose to use for add-ons, it's either going to be already integrated in the harness or it's going to be sold as a add-on plug and play. This harness here has the fuel pressure transducer integral to the harness. It has the oil pressure transducer integral to the harness. We were a little nervous about getting the truck coil to work, but we figured that out. Big shout out to Bob Bailey. Thanks, Bob. It works great. And I will make this stuff look a little cleaner, but it does work, which is where I'm at right now. But what we would probably do is something like the Casper's harness has done, and have a connector possibly on this side, and then possibly on this side, well, definitely on this side, with all these wires. And then if you're going to have an alcohol kit, it would plug in, and it would plug in. All of this stuff would come with it. It would all be plug in, plug and play complete. Boost control, plug and play complete. Fans, probably going to have no fan relays in the harness. It's going to be a hot wire harness. Most guys are using hot wire harnesses anyway, so we don't need to have redundancy. So that's going to be an add-on. And that's the game, or that's the plan. On my side of the fence as an installer and a shop, I've installed a bunch of the harnesses from Casper's with the breakout connector, and I've had to spend hours wiring stuff up, which is fine, but it takes a lot of time. So if I can get it down to where even here as a shop, I'm not having to wire anything, that everything is pre-made on the shelf, plug and play. Up here I don't have a lot of E85 yet. I just got some at a station up the road, not 5 minutes from here, but close enough to go get, but still not close enough for me to daily drive on E85. So if you have Alky, there's going to be one harness. If you have E85, there's going to be other stuff. If you want integral boost control, then you're going to have a Mac valve. And if you want to run 2 Mac valves, that'd be something else that can be incorporated. But the plan that we're trying to do is to have everything, say where you can install a harness, you can plug everything up, turn a key, make the changes in the tune, and you're good to go. You don't have to spend 5 or 6 hours of wiring on it. There you go. I got LS IAC on this car. I have the 12-1 pulley on this car. So I have all the stuff that he has integrated into his Holley stuff. We've now moved it all over to the Ecu-gn, and it works. And it will still work with the factory stuff as well. And I still have the 18X wheel that I'm using on my cars here that don't have this harness, that's the 18X wheel down there. So options and simplification. Power Master, don't have a Power Master, we can delete these plugs. So that's kind of where it's at. Like I said before, the fuel injectors are hot wired. The coil's hot wired. That's built into the harness. The fuel pump harness is not hot wired. It's still triggering an existing hot wire kit. So I'm excited about this from a standpoint as a shop that it will keep, it's going to cut my labor time down, which is going to save the customer money, and it's going to speed up the process here. So I can do more. I can turn things quicker and still maintain the same level of quality that I'm known for.